Okay, so today we're going to talk about mouse acceleration. I used raw Accl. It's a raw hook before any windows or game multipliers or anything. Um, should be undetectable by anti-cheats. Not that it's a cheating program, but that's a concern with some of these programs. Right now I'm using a exponential curve on power 3. I upped the weight a little bit so that I can reach a higher max, and the curve throughout is just a little bit higher. Moderate acceleration, so in these micros I'm staying within like 1 to 1.15 of my sense, and then for a more like macro flick I'm getting up to like 1.4 to 5. Obviously on this portion of the curve it's less accurate, but if you keep your aim style to operate in this or in this, and only use these for things that don't need to be accurate, like a tracer will 90 degrees to acquire a target, then the benefits of having this and this outweigh the lack of control and feel in this range. And there's so many different options and so many different curves that you want to find what's your aim style, what are you looking to get out of a mouse acceleration program. If you're a tracking player and you have really fine tracking, but you want to be able to do these 180s and things, then you might just need like a 2-level, like I used to have. You have 1 level for your tracking, goes up sharply, and then 1 level for your flicking or swiping. And that's one feel that's a good introduction, but I'm starting to dive into the whole mouse acceleration thing, where you learn the curve and build up a good feel, and you apply good mechanics, physical mechanics, like your mouse control, keeping your sensor on the 90-degree plane, things like that, to compensate for the lack of ability to build up really accurate muscle memory, which that's the point we'll get into. So I'll start with Soldier. Soldier is a fine tracking hero for the most part. Should go to this mode. And when you use a higher sense, like an 806 is like a decently high sense. Some people go even higher. If you're using a high sense like that, it's really hard to do these micro trackings. And I just changed my curve so my feel is off, but my previous curve, this micro, feels about the same, so I'm able to do that relatively easily. But yeah, so now you get the benefits of this micro tracking up to the level that these low sense players have. And then onto the usefulness, like, that's useful. But the usefulness is you have this fine micro tracking ability, but you also have like your 90 degrees that you can snap to, and your 180s. Now, like I said, I changed the feel of this, so my 180s aren't entirely natural yet, but eventually you'll be able to acquire a target and like do a 180, get them on your screen, and then start using your fine control to start tracking them. But to the benefits, like when the tracer's really close like this, you'll see a lot of low sense players spin out. They can't make the physical arm movements required to track a tracer at this range. And then when they do blinks, they'll have to do such a large swipe that it takes them way too long to start firing. So the tracer 1v1s will be really hard for these types of players. The enemy tracer, they'll get their crosshair on you quicker, they'll start pumping out damage quicker, even though they might not have as good tracking control. They're able to win the 1v1s because of those benefits. But now you can compete in those areas while still having those other benefits of the fine control. And once you get the feel down, the flicks and the close range, high motion tracks will be easy to perform. But then onto the weak point, where you really have to work on your fundamentals. If you're playing a hero like McCree, then it's mostly about
justice ain't gonna
precise
dispense itself.
clicking and flicking. And so this is where most people don't really see the benefits. But what I've done is I've changed my aim style. So instead of trying to do these wide swipes and large flicks, which I'll never be able to compete with someone that uses one higher sensitivity and practices these wide flicks all the time. But where I do get the benefit is if you change your aim style so that you do the wide flick and you get them into a little bubble and then you do a little micro flick, and you keep your aim style where you mostly stick to these micro flicks, then like taking a tracer duel for example, if they blink, you're able to actually acquire them and make that fine micro flick, which goes back to the benefits of the low sense. And you'll find that you tend to hit more shots this way, even though your muscle memory is not as reliable as someone else that will play just on a normal sensitivity. And like I said, I haven't played in a while, so my aim is kind of terrible right now. But
move them up, get them out.
That's the main benefits, and that's how you're able to overcome these deficits where you can't rely on your muscle memory, because a normal McCree player, they know if they want to reach this point on their screen, they've done this flick, it feels the same every time they do it. If they change their sensitivity, they just have to fall back on the feel a little bit, and they can do those flicks really easily. Now you can still do flicks, but you'll have to, it'll be less reliable. You'll know, okay, if I flick, I need to get about this speed and perform this sort of a movement. But you won't hit the pixel every time. You'll be hitting off on the pixels. That's where the micro comes in really handy.
Too slow.
And that's what makes it really tough for players to use these programs at first, because you have to rely on more of the fundamentals, the mouse control, the visual acuity, being able to see, okay, yes, they've passed into the pixel that I need to click on, the reaction times, the sensor being in the right plane, holding the right angles. So if you're coming around a corner and you're not looking at the doorway and you're holding some wide no man's land angle, then you're gonna have to make a quick flick to be able to compete with the other player. But if you come out and you adjusted your aim style and you come out and you're looking at the doorway, then you can make that little micro flick and normally win that aim matchup, that mechanical matchup. And a lot of players really don't like that interaction. But that's basically an overview of the program, what it does for you, and the cautionary tale that if you adjust the program more so than like if you adjusted your sensitivity, that's honestly not a huge deal. But if you adjust the program, it completely throws off your feel, and it takes a while to build up that feel again. So it's not something you change every other week. The last time I changed mine was over 6 months ago, and it'll probably take me a good month, maybe a week if I was like grinding the game, but it'll probably take me a month before I have that feel built up. And yeah, so that's basically the rundown.